36 hours after 181 missiles entered Israeli airspace 2 nights ago from Iran's side, there is still suspense that continues to prevail over what Israel's response, what its retaliation is going to look like. And while speculation is still rife as to the various scenarios, the various possibilities, the various target sites that Israel can attack, Iran has issued a fresh warning and said that should Israel retaliate, Iran's counter-retaliation will be even stronger than the one that took place a couple of nights ago. Well, Iran has issued a fresh warning saying the response to its October 1st attack will be even bigger. Meanwhile, Israel is ramping up its offensive against the Hezbollah, bombing central Beirut just feet away from Lebanon's seat of governance.
War clouds thicken over West Asia. Just days after Iran's barrage of missiles against Israel, all eyes on Israel's next move. Iran shot off another warning, saying any retaliation by Tel Aviv will trigger a harsher counterattack.
The security of the region is the security of all Muslims, and we do not want any war or bloodshed. Since I assumed the presidency, every speech I have made has emphasized our quest for peace and security. No nation or region can prosper in the midst of war. We were left with no choice but to respond. If Israel decides to retaliate, then it will face harsher reactions.
Israel is ramping up its offensive against Hezbollah. The heart of Lebanon's capital city, Beirut, was bombed on Thursday, damaging multiple buildings. Just near the parliament, plumes of smoke ignited the skyline.
On Wednesday, 8 aerial strikes were carried out at different 8 locations by the IDF, and that continued during the last night, even today morning, when the Hezbollah claimed that one of the rehabilitation units, the people who were helping for the wounded and the affected, has been targeted, in which Islamic Relief Trust staff has got killed.
This is the first time Israeli strikes have hit so close to the seat of governance in Lebanon, signaling a fresh escalation. In southern Lebanon, Israeli forces suffered some casualties even as they took on Hezbollah fighters in close-quarter combat. Israel also bombed a weapons depot in the coastal city of Jabaleh in Syria. Meanwhile, Houthis in Yemen claim to have launched another drone attack at Israel.
In continuation of the victory for the oppression of Palestinian and Lebanese people and in support of Palestinian and Lebanese resistances, the Yemeni armed forces, drone air force carried out a military operation targeting a vital target in Jaffa area, Tel Aviv, in occupied Palestine, using a number of drones. The operation achieved its goals successfully.
The multi-front war is expanding by the hour. Can a bigger war be averted? Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, 3 air bases housing fighter jets of the Israeli military were hit 2 nights ago. 3 air bases which contain some of the frontline fighter aircraft that have been involved in conducting airstrikes in Gaza, in Syria, against the Houthis in Yemen, and now in Lebanon as well. The 3 air bases were the Nevatim and the Hatzerim air base in the southern part of Israel and the Tel Nof air base in the central part of Israel. Now, all of these are frontline air bases which contain fighter aircraft of the Israeli Air Force, which, armed with missiles and bombs, have been conducting the airstrikes that you've been reading about. The missiles went from Iran, they flew all the way across this entire stretch of geography and landed in those air bases. But here's where the interesting thing begins, because we know that the missiles were fired. We also know that a large number of those missiles were intercepted by Israel's very advanced air defense systems like the Iron Dome and the David Sling. But now a different kind of war has broken out between Israel and Iran. And I want to zoom in fully because this is a very, very polarizing story. Iran claims that some of its missiles, which had struck the combat airbase of Nevatim, which houses some of Israel's most capable fighters, its number one fighter, its most advanced fighter, the F-35, Iran claims that at least 30 of the aircraft were actually destroyed in that missile strike. Now, we don't know this for sure because only one small pair of satellite images have emerged. Israel has categorically denied any large-scale destruction. They've said all aircraft are completely intact. There has been no damage whatsoever to anything on the ground at these air bases. Now, these are two images that we have right now. That image is from before the missiles hit, and this Planet Labs satellite image that we've procured is from after. You can see bits of the hangar containing some kind of damage. There appears to be a crater in the airbase as well. But once again, even these satellite images don't nail down what kind of damage may have actually taken place at this particular airbase. Let's try and get in, make sense of these images. India Today's Ankit Kumar, who heads up our open source intelligence team, is with us. He's been bringing us images from a fog of war where very little authentic information is available. Ankit, make sense of this image for us, the before and after at the Nevatim airbase, because interestingly, the two versions couldn't be more different. Iran claims, a huge number of aircraft have been destroyed. Israel claims nothing has been touched whatsoever. Is the truth somewhere in the middle? Because this satellite image that you've got us shows that some of those missiles definitely hit inside the base.
Well, Shiv, from the limited coverage of high-resolution satellite pictures that we are showing to our viewers right now, we can take a couple of takeaways. First is, yes, some of the hypersonic Iranian missiles did manage to breach Israel's three-layer security cover. We can see visually at least 4 points where some kind of impact is seen, including 2 places on the hangars and 2 on the surface. One might be the taxiway. Now, there are 2 very extreme points, as you rightly said. Israel maintains that there was no material damage, nothing functional has been hit. On the other hand, there are pro-Iranian accounts claiming that the entire airbase has been destroyed. Dozens of F-35 jets have been destroyed. Now, before I explain these satellite pictures, it is important to point out why there is very limited coverage of satellite pictures of Israel. Yesterday, it was a very cloudy day. Remember, we are looking for high-resolution pictures. Last time, when there was this sort of conflict between Iran and Israel, a lot of commentary was made based on low-resolution pictures. Low-resolution pictures cover a wider area, but they give you very few details. The higher the resolution, the limited the coverage. So adding the clouds, adding the resolution factor, there is very limited coverage. We are hoping that we might get a broader coverage by end of today or tomorrow. So given whatever limited details that we have, the claim that the entire airbase has been destroyed, dozens of F-35s have been destroyed, that does not seem to be true. We can see that hangars have been impacted. There is no evidence to confirm where there was any aircraft beneath those hangars or not. But given the advanced intelligence, given the advanced information that Israel was preparing for a ballistic missile, I don't think it is plausible that F-35s would be there like a sitting ducks. They might be airborne. So will be the mid-air refuelers. So the chances of F-35s being taken down during this attack are very, very, very minimal. But yes, some of the missiles did manage to breach Israel's three-layer security. We have visual evidence, but the extent of the damage is not as much as it is claimed by pro-Iranian accounts. It is the kind of event that both the Iranian population and the state of Israel can live with.
Ankit, just stay with me for a moment. I just want to zoom in just a little bit to show our viewers what the Nevatim airbase actually looks like. It's very important to know that fighter aircraft in these advanced airbases are very frequently housed in what are called blast pens, or basically reinforced hangars, not just metal hangars, but reinforced concrete hangars. Now, this is actually an image of an Indian Air Force penetrative bomb test showing you how a weapon can be used to destroy an aircraft that could be housed even within a reinforced concrete hangar. Mind you, this is not an Israeli image. This is an image from the Indian Air Force here in India demonstrating that such weapons are available in order to actually destroy aircraft that may even be inside a reinforced establishment. And therefore, those images, and I'll put those images back on your screen right now, of the satellite images at the Nevatim airbase, and bring Ankit back in. Ankit, the missiles that apparently were used, the video that we've just shown is only to give our viewers a sense of how protected aircraft can be, but they can still be vulnerable despite all of them. But the weapons that the Iranians claim to have used in order to penetrate these air defenses and to hit the Nevatim airbase have apparently been used for the first time, Ankit.
The further to hypersonic missiles, we have seen the first use case on October 1st. You're right about that. Shiv, one important thing that we look for during these kind of satellite pictures, during the analysis of these kind of pictures, is we look for the size and nature of the craters. We have not seen a large crater anywhere on the airbase. We have not seen any evidence of damage or a larger damage on the runway. Even if we count the hangars, there are 6 or 7 hangars. The number of F-35s should outnumber the number of hangars. So there are more evidence to suggest that the likely damage to the F-35s are not as much as it is being claimed by the Iranian state or the pro-Iranian accounts. We have still, it is a very important caveat, there is a very limited coverage of the airways. We might get more coverage in hours and days to come, but from the given evidence, it is very unlikely that the Israeli Air Force, at least at the Nevatim Air Base, has suffered a very, very large damage.
Yeah, so this satellite image, at least, and I agree with you, Ankit, suggests that some missiles definitely found their mark. They did hit, but the kind of wide-scale damage that the Iranians are claiming doesn't seem to be borne out from the visual evidence so far. And I'll add that caveat, so far, because we're hoping for more information. Stay with me, Ankit. I also want to summarize for our viewers what we're talking about here, because multiple Iranian missiles were definitely seen hitting the Nevatim and other air bases. That we know for sure. But what kind of damage happened? You've just seen what Ankit has explained. Iranian Fatah-2 missiles, hypersonic missiles, are said to have been used to penetrate Israeli air defenses and hit these particular air bases. In this particular image, you can see the Nevatim air base. Iranian media claimed 30 Israeli fighter jets were destroyed. Israel has categorically denied this and said all the fighter jets were intact. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a moment. And as you can see in these satellite images, there is damage inside the station. So is the truth somewhere in the middle is the big question that we're asking right now. Okay, I want to bring in more information about the F-35 now. The F-35 fighter, 39 F-35 fighters were supplied by the United States to Israel. They are by far the most advanced fighter aircraft that Israel has, and is one of the most advanced fighter aircraft in the world. Israel operates approximately 40 F-35 stealth fighters, many of them based at the Nevatim Air Base. They are used in airstrikes. They are virtually invisible to radar. They're basically 5th generation fighter aircraft. The United States has them, the UK has them, Israel also has them. The F-35s are mostly housed at the Nevatim Air Base. Satellite images show damage, as Ankit just showed us, at the Nevatim Air Base. But the Israeli media has added a very interesting detail. They say that the F-35s may have all been in flight, not even at the base during the missile attack. The Iranian media, remember, says 30 of these aircraft were destroyed in the missile attack. But Israeli media, or at least sections of the Israeli media, are saying that all of these aircraft were not even there at the base. Ankit, are you hearing anything of this kind? Okay, we'll bring Ankit back in just a moment. But the missile that the Iranians used to penetrate what is globally considered to be one of the most impregnable air defense systems, the Iron Dome, the David Sling, and the Aroor 2 systems, an Iranian weapon called the Fatah 2, a hypersonic missile used for the first time, is what apparently managed to do it. Here's everything we know about that missile.
Nearly 200 missiles rained on Israel on 1st of October. A majority apparently missing the mark. But there is one Iranian missile that did manage to penetrate Israel's famed multi-layered defense system renowned as the Iron Dome. This is the first visual proof of the Iranian superweapons impact on Israel's Nevatim air base. The missile left a gaping hole on the hangar roof. The airbase houses Israel's F-35 fighter jets, and there is no clarity on whether any of these jets was struck as of now. This missile is none other than Iran's latest Brahmastra, the hypersonic medium-range Fatah 2 missile. The missile strikes hit areas that are near key Israeli military bases, including the Nevatim, Tel Aviv, and the Hatzerim air base. These are home to Israel's F-35 fighter jets used in the aerial strikes and raids in West Asia. Iran claimed several of the jets were destroyed, a claim that has been denied by Israel.
We have the ability to reach and attack any point in the Middle East, and those of our enemies who have not understood this until now will understand it soon. We know that the holiday is not complete without the abductees. We are obliged to continue and do everything to return them, and we grieve for the voids that have fallen.
This is the first time Iran has used its Fatah 2 missile, and its aim was to target and pierce Israel's air defense. This missile is a big boost for Iran's firepower. Fatah 2 is equipped with a hypersonic glide vehicle warhead, boasts a range of 1,500 kilometers with speed between Mach 5 and 20. It is an astounding 5 times the speed of sound. The missile can evade defense systems of Israel with trajectory changes and has a spherical solid fuel engine with movable nozzle. Fatah 2 missile is also equipped with hydrogen fuel, which helps it accelerate outside the Earth's atmosphere, while it can steer within the atmosphere using aerodynamic control surface. The Fatah 2 missile used by Iran marks a big escalation of war with Israel. All eyes will now be on Israel's next move. Bureau Report, India Today.
And I want to bring on to our coverage Group Captain MJ Augustine Vinod. He's an air power expert. He's a veteran fighter pilot himself. Group Captain Vinod, welcome. Thank you for your time here on India Today. A couple of things that we're looking at amidst a storm of claims versus counterclaims, specifically on the missile attack on a couple of Israeli air bases, Group Captain. And I wanted your view on this. You know, Iran claims that many of its missiles managed to penetrate those air defense systems and wrought a huge amount of damage at the Nevatim air base, you know, destroying virtually the entire F-35 fleet. Israel, of course, has categorically denied this. Satellite images show that there is some damage, not the kind of damage that Iran was, sort of hoping for. But the fact that many of these missiles did manage to hit the base is still a big deal, isn't it?
Certainly. In fact, you just mentioned Aroor David Sling followed by Iron Dome. A 3-layered air defense has been penetrated, and some missiles have landed. and one of which we were discussing earlier. I was just listening to your discussion with the previous the speaker. This is the image that is going around in the world over today, and everybody is discussing it. But what misses everybody, Shiv, is during war. Even I'm sure you've gone to many airbases in India, and you have seen such hangars on the tarmac.
Yes.
These are peacetime hangars. They are there to protect the aeroplane from the elements, from the sunlight, rain, and everything, and also allows the people to load the weapon, do some minor maintenance activities, etc. In a war-like scenario, no one puts their aeroplane here because it is calling for open air killing, as it happened during Six-Day War. Six-Day War of Israel opened up this can of worms, and Egypt was down to nearly aircraft because they were all out in the open, and Israeli Air Force went and took it out, and the war was over in 6 days. Let me bring out the same image here. Now you look at, this is that particular hangar that we are talking about.
Yeah.
But look here, just 200 meters down the road, you will see every single, this is called URP. I want to explain URP in 30 seconds. URP is nothing but unit risk principle. What URP talks about is you put every egg in one basket, not all eggs in one basket, which means you will need one missile that directed for one target, and that too, that target is the weapon to target matching has to be done so that the weapon can penetrate the hardened shelter. And you see number of hardened shelters here. If these many hardened shelters were made for this hangar, which is a peacetime hangar, all the aeroplanes would have been in this hardened shelter and not here. So even if it was there, A, it was a mistake. B, maximum 2 to 3 aeroplanes may have been damaged.
Yeah.
So that is the long and short of what I wanted to tell people.
Understood.
People look at image and start...
because, in the Israeli media, there's also a claim that there were no aircraft even at the base because there was advanced intelligence about these incoming missiles, and these aircraft were scrambled and all of them were in the air. Is that a possibility as well, sir, that the aircraft were not even at the base?
That is bunkam. Shiv, it is not possible because if all the aircraft are in the air, at some time, all the aircraft will be on the ground.
Yeah.
So it is not possible. It is a loop. Especially in a war-like scenario, you will have somebody doing combat air patrol, you will have somebody doing the attack, you will have somebody doing the base defense, and you will have somebody doing VAVP defense.
Yeah.
So and the rotation is on. Most certainly, more than 10 aeroplane should have been on the ground. But my only point, Shiv, is it is not here. It will be here. So that is.
Do you think there is a generous measure, Group Captain, of psychological psyops and mind games, obviously, between Israel and Iran? Could that be at play here? Iran claiming 30 F-35s have been destroyed because they know what the F-35 sort of brings to the fight. I mean, these are 5th generation fighters, virtually invisible to radar, capable of conducting those strike missions even in contested airspace. Explain that a little bit for us. The Iranian claim that they've managed to wipe out Israel's fleet of F-35s.
Super question, Shiv, and I know you know the answer, but you want me to explain it to the people who are watching our show. There is something called BDA. Some call it bomb damage assessment. In Air Force, we call it the battle damage assessment. Before you send the weapon, you will have your BDA plan in place. And why BDA? Because your next round of weapon should not go to a target which you already destroyed. So you want to press that button towards another target which you haven't destroyed, for which you need information. In previous years, the BDA aeroplane used to fly the last, bring out the pictures, and based on that, you will send your second and the third wave. Here today, BDA happens with the use of satellite. So you press the button, When your low Earth orbit satellite is about to reach Nevatim Air Base, you will time it in a manner that the missiles are reaching Nevatim and your satellite is reaching Nevatim, and immediately you get a PDA. I'm sure Iran has done it. And I am also sure Iran exactly knows where all it sprayed its missile and where all it went and hit. But like you correctly said, the PSYOPs has to continue, because PSYOPs is also part of operations, and nothing wrong in PSYOPs. I mean, every trained military and country and diplomacy are supposed to come together to sing the same song to create some kind of fear in the minds of people. Because eventually, the country will capitulate based on the pressure from the people, not how you gained or lost in a war.
Group Captain Augustine Vinod, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for making some of those concepts very, very clear to us and our viewers. Pleasure speaking to you. Thank you very much, sir. Well, meanwhile, while we've been talking about bunkers and tunnels in Gaza, in Lebanon and elsewhere, well, there are tunnels even inside Israel. In fact, in the country's capital of Tel Aviv. My colleague, Emily Botol, is in Tel Aviv, where she's been reporting on these makeshift tunnels where citizens have been advised to collect in case of a large-scale missile attack. Take a look at what she sent us.
Right now, in Hostage Square, inside a makeshift tunnel, simulating the tunnels in which 101 hostages are believed to be held by Hamas in Gaza. The IDF confirmed earlier today the elimination of Rawi Mushtawa, the head of Hamas's government in Gaza, since Hamas's October 7 massacre of 1,200 people and its invasion of 22 southern Israel communities. Israel's ground operation has led to the elimination of many elements of Hamas's leadership, most notably in July, the elimination in Tehran of Hamas political chief Ismail Haniyeh. Many Israeli officials have likened Yahya Sinwar, Hamas's chief in Gaza, believed to be the architect of the October 7 attack, to a dead man walking. This is Amelie Bodbod reporting from Tel Aviv for India Today. Sharona, can you tell us why you decided to come here today? What was the motivation?
It's the Rosh Hashanah Eve. There is a dinner, a family dinner at noon, and I felt I couldn't go to have a traditional meal with my family. My heart said I must be here. So we have one car. We went all together to the family near Be'er Sheva, and I came to here. I left my family there to have the meal, and I came here.
There is a lot that has happened in the last few days. 2 days ago, Iran launched a massive ballistic missile attack on Israel with over 180 ballistic missiles. Just today, the Iranian proxy, the Yemen Houthis, launched 2 drones at central Israel. Were you worried when you took your car and you decided to come here?
You mean if I felt safe enough to do it? I think the citizens of Israel it's not so good, but we're used to such a reality. I mean, when the missile attack was finished, we knew it finished, we continued our life. So that was what I didn't think about it even. I did think about all the families of the hostages. They don't have a new year. They don't celebrate for a year now. This Monday it will be a year, and my heart is with them, and that's why I came here.
Thank you so much. A very sober and difficult New Year for the Jewish people here in Israel. This is Amelie Bodbod reporting from Tel Aviv for India Today.
And remember, amidst all of these developments, airstrikes are continuing in southern Lebanon. Lebanese media now reporting Israeli airstrikes in Beirut's southern suburb, the capital southern suburb, a Hezbollah stronghold known as Dahieh. The Israeli Defense Forces have accused the Hezbollah of smuggling Iranian weapons via a civilian border crossing and have warned of further action. Five days since he was killed in southern Lebanon, it's now confirmed that a symbolic funeral of the Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah will be held tomorrow, that's Friday. But who's going to be in attendance? Where exactly will that mock funeral happen? Will it be broadcast to the public? And more importantly, why is there still not a single image of Hassan Nasrallah's body? Why is there no visual evidence for 5 days and counting?
This is the Hezbollah headquarters in Beirut, Lebanon. This is where Hezbollah chief was when the Israel airstrikes hit on Saturday.
I'm currently standing and I am the first international journalist from India today who is at the Hezbollah headquarters here in South Beirut. Behind me you can see this was the 6-story building when Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, the Secretary General of Hezbollah, was taking a meeting of his commanders in the basement, which was underground almost 15 feet below the ground, where he was taking that meeting.
Israel Air Force F-15 planes dropped 85 bunker buster bombs, causing a big crater. Reports say that Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah's body was recovered from this crater. Al Jazeera suggested that Nasrallah's body showed no direct physical injury, raising the likelihood that his death resulted from shock due to the force of the explosion. But almost a week since the Hezbollah chief's death, the world is yet to see the physical evidence of Nasrallah's dead body. There was speculation that his body might be transported abroad, with the holy city of Karbala in Iraq, the site of Imam Hussein's shrine. Imam Hussein was the grandson of Prophet Muhammad and a founding figure in Shia Islam. Iraq's health ministry reported that 100 newborns were named Nasrallah in honor of the Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah after his assassination by Israel. Hezbollah, though, has called reports of Nasrallah's funeral or burial in Karbala are false. Reports now suggest the symbolic funeral of Hassan Nasrallah will be held on Friday. The possibility of a large-scale public funeral procession in Beirut is slim, given the ongoing Israeli strikes. A second scenario suggests that, due to heightened security measures, Hezbollah might opt for a private burial ceremony with only close family members and key party leaders, with no live broadcasting of the event. In his first public address since the missile strikes in Israel, Iran's supreme leader mourned the death of Hassan Nasrallah.
در این روزها عزاداریم به خصوص بنده به جد عزادار هستم. حادثه ای که اتفاق افتاد حادثه کوچکی نیست. فقدان آقای سید حسن نصرالله حادثه کمی نیست و جداً ما رو عزادار کرده. عزای ما جنسش از جنس عزای سید الشهدا علیه السلام. زنده و زنده کننده است.
Hassan Nasrallah's funeral will be held on Friday, but there is still no visual proof of the Hezbollah chief's remains. Bureau Report, India Today.
This is the crater that the penetration bomb made, the one that killed Hassan Nasrallah. This was a bomb that went in many meters before it detonated. And I'm going to show you in a moment how that bomb actually worked. But this is all that there was left. We don't have any images of Hassan Nasrallah's body. His body was presumably pulled out from this particular crater because he was in a bunker down this particular crater. That's where he was hiding when the bomb actually hit. But I want to show you the surrounding areas of places where bombs like this have actually been used. This was a targeted aerial strike, very much like this on the suburbs of Beirut. But as you can see, buildings around the strike area are actually intact. Even the windows aren't shattered, which means a bomb fell right in the middle of this area, destroying one particular building, but the rest of the buildings in the vicinity are almost virtually completely intact, showing that this was a bomb designed not to have a large circumference of destruction, only targeting the building that is on target from whoever is planning the destruction of that particular building. So this is the kind of weaponry that Israel is bringing to the fight, even though they've been accused of a great deal of collateral damage. This one image shows you how that's actually done and how they're defending their military actions in southern Lebanon. Let me show you now how these bombs actually work. These are penetration bombs. They're precision guided. They are smart bombs dropped from aircraft by the Israeli Air Force that are designed to penetrate the ground. They don't explode on hitting the ground, but they penetrate and detonate only after they've gone a certain distance into the ground. They're equipped with a high-density projectile, which means they're capable of resisting a detonation accidentally only after they reach a certain depth through the ground, which is presumably where Hassan Nasrallah would have been hiding, or the bunker was situated. Only then does the bomb actually explode. It allows the bomb to pierce reinforced concrete, earth, mud, whatever it is, before actually detonating. They can be programmed to go to a certain depth before detonating. It features a fuse that delays that detonation until after it has penetrated down to a certain depth. They're called bunker busters because they're basically capable of reaching bunkers in subterranean areas and then taking out targets. These commonly weigh around 2,000 pounds, and these are the kinds of bombs that Israel has been using to target people like Hassan Nasrallah in their bunkers. Now, the Geneva Conventions on War restrict their use to extreme circumstances. They target enemy infrastructure without collateral damage. That at least is what the purpose is supposed to be. I want to go across now to India Today's Ashraf Wani, the first Indian reporter on the ground in Lebanon. He's been reporting fearlessly throughout this entire conflict. Ashraf, the body of Hassan Nasrallah has not been seen so far. You have visited the site, you have reported from there and around the area as well. There is a lot of talk that there could be some kind of a mock funeral for Nasrallah tomorrow. What are you hearing? What preparations are being made for his funeral, Ashraf?
Actually, Shiv, it is necessary to understand how much popular figure, particularly among the Shia Muslims, Hassan Nasrallah was. If you will just surf the social media, particularly of the Gulf countries, including Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and then Jordan, and other surrounding countries, you will find the war going on for creating the update status. In fact, most of the people have put the Hassan Nasrallah's picture as their profile picture on the Twitter handles, on the Instagram handles, as well as on the Facebook handles. That shows the popularity of Hassan Nasrallah. Even in our country, in India, we have seen protesters in solidarity of Hassan Nasrallah. In India, in fact, not only in the Jammu and Kashmir. But that means that he is a very, not only the popular leader, but also a famous cleric, very close to the supreme leader of Iran. And also, what you suggested in the report, there are chances that probably after some time, he may be buried in Karbala. Karbala is the very pious city for the Shia Muslims, where Imam Hussein and Imam Hassan had been laid to the rest. But there is a kind of a, we can say, chaos among the Hezbollah fighters that they could not keep the burial of Hassan Nasrallah on hold too much.
The area where the Hezbollah headquarters has been targeted, where Hassan Nasrallah was living, it is not possible to bury him there because there will be any kind of strike during his funeral. And if the news goes in the public without any question, we can say that at least more than 1 million people are going to attend his funeral on voluntarily basis across the region. So to avoid that kind of confrontation and any kind of a big accident in that funeral, the Hezbollah now probably may have decided, they have not yet disclosed, but may have decided to take symbolic funeral here. Then later on, when the situation gets clear, they may disclose where he has been buried and where is his grave. That is only possible after this tension, what is mounting in the Lebanon as well as on the southern border of the Lebanon and the Iran and Israel conflict. After that thing, that will be come in public domain. As far as you were talking in the report about the pictures, why that had not been released. That will not be intentionally released by the Hezbollah, even in his funeral, will not be allowed to be filmed by anyone except the Hezbollah people. And at their will, they will decide when to release for the public announcement that he has been buried. Still, we are waiting for any kind of statement. I have asked many people in the day, is tomorrow any kind of funeral taking place? They said, we not know anything about it. And these are the reasons which were, as I was counting with you, for a secret funeral of Hassan Nasrallah.
Very much. Stay safe. We will keep connecting with you, Ashraf, reporting extensively from Beirut and in southern Lebanon, including the places where airstrikes are taking place. All of his coverage is here on India Today. Now, the supreme leader of Iran continues to be in a safe location after Tuesday night's missile strikes on Israel. Reports suggest that Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, warned the Hezbollah leader, Hassan Nasrallah, to flee Lebanon and, in fact, go to Iran, perhaps, just days before that airstrike killed him. On Wednesday, he addressed a public gathering where he had a big warning, his latest for Israel. Listen in.
The biggest declaration of war. Iran ended all suspense by directly launching missiles into Israel on Tuesday. While it did manage to hit Israel's military bases and targeted Mossad headquarters, Iran is on its toes. Its supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, the man who ordered the direct attack against Israel, has made his first appearance since being moved to a secure location. Khamenei called for the West to leave the Middle East, blaming the regional conflict on the United States and its allies.
The root of the problem which causes these conflicts, wars, tensions, is the presence of the same people who claim that they want peace and tranquility in the region. I am referring to America and some European countries.
Claiming the region will live in peace if the West leaves.
If they remove their evil from this region, without a doubt, these conflicts, these wars, clashes will disappear completely. The countries of the region can damage themselves, manage their region, live together in peace, health and well-being.
Meanwhile, Israel's offensive against Lebanon rages on as it tries to dismantle Hezbollah military infrastructure in South Lebanon, triggering another warning from Iran.
باید این جانی رو سر جاش بنشونم که دست از این کاراش برداره، چون اگه بخواد ادامه بده به این سادگی نی. دفعه دیگه اگه بخواد کاری بکنه که امنیت ما رو به هم بزنه، ما هم امنیت اونا رو قادریم به هم بزنیم و قطعا اگر اونا بخوان کاری خلاف اون مسائل رو انجام بدن، پاسخهای بسیار محکمتر از اینی رو خواهند گرفت که دیشب نشون داده شد.
Israel has vowed revenge against Iran.
איראן עשתה הערב טעות גדולה והיא תשלם על כך.
All eyes are now on whether a bigger war is on the cards. Bureau Report, India Today.
And remember, our war coverage on India Today continues unabated. We're the only Indian channel with a reporting presence in Israel, in Iran, in Lebanon, and we will soon have more voices from around the world joining our war coverage. Don't miss it right here on India Today. That's a wrap on 5 Live. Thanks for watching.